Well, time now to check in with our business reporter, Ropiwa Madzena, on what we can expect on the week ahead. Ropiwa, always a pleasure speaking to you. Results this week are coming to an end, but there is the release of the EOH results, a company that's had some trouble, actually, in recent times. What's going on there?
That's very true, Faith. But the positive thing about these numbers that are set to come out this week is that they will be showing an improvement in headline earnings, just over 80% they have reported. Now, one of the big issues with EOH is they've had a lot of government contracts over the years. And in the recent times, we've seen that a lot of those are allegedly dodgy contracts that they were engaged in. So they had to deal with a lot of write-down from those dodgy contracts with a government. And that saw them spending a lot of money on those write-downs. But the new CEO, who's no longer very new really, but Stephen Van Coller has spent a lot of time and a lot of effort trying to turn around the circumstances of EOH, cutting down debt, selling unnecessary assets or non-core assets, as well as cutting costs. And that looks like it's working for the company. So there was also a probe done by ENS Africa into EOH, and it found over R1 billion of irregular contracts, most of them with a government. So the strategy by the company here is to turn that situation around. It looks like that strategy will be showing in this particular set of results, and hopefully because of the new times and the products and services that are offered by EOH, they will be able to take advantage of the current times. And I speak here about COVID-19 and the need for more technological products and services by not only consumers but by businesses as well, and so that they can benefit from that as well.
And then some economic data out this week which shows the health, actually, of the economy. Are we healthy? Are we critical but stable?
Well, quarter on quarter, Faith, we are doing okay. And we're talking here about manufacturing data that's going to be coming out later on this week. So we're going to see that in the fourth quarter, we did relatively well. There were some improvements. And this just relates to the opening up of the economy after the hard lockdown and manufacturing plants being able to produce and export whatever they are producing. One of the big problems, though, and this will be shown in the year-on-year data that we'll be getting from them, is the unsustainable power supply that we have seen coming through from Eskom, that power monopoly needing to come to an end, and the introduction of IPPs to alleviate that pressure that is on Eskom currently, and that's of course affecting huge industries like manufacturing and mining. So we are seeing a lot of businesses that are starting to take up their own alternative power sources in the likes of solar, which is the most popular here in South Africa, according to an F&B analyst, but also the fact that the economy is not ramping up as fast as we should be. So what's going to be important here, Faith, is the rollout of the vaccines in South Africa so that the economy and those working within it are comfortable enough to freely do what they need to do to contribute to the economy.
And then very quickly, we'll also have the IMF Spring Meetings kicking off this week. What's on the agenda?
So this is a very interesting sitting that happens annually, and in fact, Heidi Jokos will be attending this as a fellow who's been invited to attend these spring meetings virtually instead of being in Washington, unfortunately for her. But anyway, this is a very important sitting that happens, and it's with the IMF and the World Bank. So they look at the progress that the two institutions have made in terms of their mandate in the development of economies around the world. But they're also checking in on the vaccine rollout globally, what that's going to do for the economies, not only the largest economy, which is the US, but also developmental economies like South Africa and other emerging markets. Another thing they're going to be looking at here is the debt situation in emerging markets like South Africa and other African countries where debt is higher than GDP, and how that can be dealt with. And then, of course, the developmental initiatives that they've taken on, how far those are and how much they've done to grow the economy. And also an important thing here which they're going to be looking at is the inclusivity of all economies around the world, ensuring that everybody gets a piece of the pie, something that hasn't been done because of those inequality issues that we always discuss, Faith. So it's a very important meeting, and some of the outcomes there are going to be very important to see how far we've come in the development of emerging markets and developmental states.
Ropiwa Madzena, definitely an interesting week ahead. ENCA business reporter giving us the latest there from the economics desk. Well, to this.